outside, just after the hotel, you can see a cricket field, now a restaurant. Look at the weather vane on the roof. This shows a cricketer standing at the wicket. The gentleman depicted is the Cambridge cricketer Jack Hobbs, who later played for Surrey and England. Jack Hobbs, who died in 1963, is considered by many to be England's greatest batsman. He scored 3,635 runs, including 12 centuries in Test matches against Australia. The area of parkland here is called Parker's Piece. You can still watch cricket played here on a Sunday afternoon in the sun. Parker's Piece was named after a chef at Trinity College, Edward Parker, who used the area for grazing his cattle and growing vegetables for the college kitchen. As we approach the traffic lights, down the road to our left is our second university, the Anglia Ruskin University. In 1858, John Ruskin, after whom the university is named, opened the College of Arts in Sydney Street. This gradually evolved until in 1960 on this site it became the Cambridge College of Arts and Technology. Following further developments in 1992, it was granted full university status and so gave us our second university, which now has over 28,000 students. The church ahead of us is the Roman Catholic Church of Our Lady and the English Martyrs, built in 1890. Most people make the mistake of thinking that this church is Cambridge's cathedral. King George VI granted Cambridge city status in 1951. Cambridge is now a city due to the university, but without the presence of a cathedral. Our next stop is for the Roman Catholic Church. Making our way towards the railway station. Many people ask why the railway station is so far from the city centre. The reason goes back to 1845, when the railway company wanted to link Cambridge with other major cities. University, however, was not very keen on this idea. Students were taking advantage of the railway, physical distractions and former on the right at the junction was designed by Robert Tate Mackenzie. It depicts a young soldier looking towards the railway station in its victorious. Bicycles in the city, all of which will appear in front of you when you're in a hurry to get somewhere. Your hop-on, hop-off ticket is valid for 24 hours from the time of purchase and allows you to leave and reboard the bus as often as you like. Please keep your ticket safe at all times, as you will need to show it to the driver if you wish to reboard the bus later in the day. Buses come past our stops at regular intervals, and if you decide to get off the bus, please check with your driver or one of our sales staff about the time of the last buses today. The brochure you've been given with your tour ticket shows the location of our stops around the route, and also some useful discounts and information about places to visit in this wonderful city. Additional information on local attractions is available either from your driver or from the leaflet racks located on the lower deck of this bus. Before we leave the railway station, could I ask you to remain seated at all times whilst the bus is in motion, as there are several parts of the tour where the tree branches overhang the roadway. Only leave your seat when the bus is safely parked at a bus stop. Out of consideration to your driver and other passengers, can I point out that smoking is not permitted on any of our sightseeing buses, and all mobile telephones should be set to silent mode or switched off. Thank you. First century AD that really put Cambridge on the map. The Roman army marched through Cambridge many times on the road they called the Via Divana, which led from their headquarters at Colchester to the city of Lincoln to the north. They forded the river and built a fortified camp on the higher ground to the north of the city. This camp was gradually expanded throughout the period of Roman occupation in Britain, until in 410 AD the legions were finally withdrawn to protect their homeland. We will be travelling along several sections of the original Roman road on our tour today, although it now changes its name 8 times as it passes through the city. After the Romans, Cambridge was invaded next by the Saxons from northern Germany, arrived around 450 AD. They established Cambridge as a centre for commerce and market trading. They were followed by the Vikings from Scandinavia, who arrived some 400 years later. True to their seafaring ways, gave Cambridge a thriving port. The river was still being used for trading until the early part of the 20th century. As we leave Station Road, on the corner is the new Microsoft Research Centre. your right, you will see the Royal Albert Homes. These charming homes were originally built in the 19th century and have been recently refurbished to provide accommodation for some of the senior citizens of the city. They're named after Prince Albert, who was the consort of Queen Victoria and Chancellor of the University at the time they were built. The Norman conquest of England came in 1066. William the Conqueror reached Cambridge with his army in 1068 and built a wooden motte and bailey castle, which was later rebuilt with stone. The castle bailey is no longer visible. The motte, or high bank of earth, can be seen adjacent to Shire Hall in Castle Street and still offers sweeping views across the city. The history of Cambridge changed dramatically in 1209. Rioting in Oxford, which is always called the other place by local residents, forced students and teachers to flee for their lives. Legend has it that the riot was caused when a group of students were practicing archery in Oxford and accidentally killed the townsman. One guard landed out to take students hostage in revenge for the murder. Some students fled to Paris, some to Reading, and others settled in Cambridge. The arrival students discovered a town of John in Oxford, safely and sanctuary, mostly buildings. Some of these buildings became our earliest colleges. You will see many of these on your tour. The area of land on your right is the Botanic Garden of the University of Cambridge. This is the only department of the university that is officially open to the public. The garden was established in 1846 and is considered to be one of the most important in the country, second only to Kew Gardens in London. The gardens cover approximately 40 acres and contain a marvellous collection of plants, trees and shrubs. They are a wonderful place to relax and unwind and include, amongst other things, a tropical rainforest, a dry garden, and a sensory garden for the visually impaired. Over 10,000 different species of plants are cultivated here. If you wish to visit the botanic gardens, you can leave the visitor bags and stuff. The main entrance is in Baker Street, which is the next road on the right-hand side. This is the second oldest public school in Cambridge and was founded in 1875. A public school in England means that parents of attending children pay for the education and that the school is not funded by the state. The Lees was originally established as a boarding school to teach just the boys of the Methodist Church, but now admits girls and boys of all faiths. The school has long-held connections with the South Pacific island kingdom of Tonga, whose royal children come here to be educated. To your right, you will see a small river running alongside the road. This is known as Hobson's Brook, from the village of Nine Wells to the point where it divides into a stream, and an artificial channel called Hobson's Conduit. The monument ahead of the bus on the right-hand side of the roundabout is called the Hobson's Conduit Monument, and is topped by a golden pineapple, a symbol that denotes great wealth. The conduit is named after Thomas Hobson, a local carrier and city benefactor. bringing fresh water to the city. Water flowed along the New River and into runnels on the side of Trumpington Street. You can still see the runnels on either side of the road ahead. Thomas Hobson ran a livery stable here in Cambridge. When a customer paid to hire a horse from the stable, he was told to take any horse he wanted, as long as it was the one closest to the door, as this was the most rested. This gave rise to the English phrase, Hobson's choice, which means no choice at all. The elegant building coming up on your right-hand side is the Judge Institute of Management Studies, named after its principal benefactor, Sir Paul Judge. The building dates back to 1740 and was the original home of Addenbrooke's Hospital. This hospital was founded to provide treatment for the poor people in Cambridge who could not afford to pay for medical care. Brown's restaurant to the right used to be the outpatients department. The modern Addenbrooke's Hospital has now moved to a large new site on the outskirts of the city, complete with research facilities. Thomas Hobson ran a livery stable here in Cambridge. When a customer paid to hire a horse from the stable, he was told to take any horse he wanted, as long as it was the one closest to the door, as this was the most rested. This gave rise to the English phrase, Hobson's choice, which means no choice at all. The elegant building coming up on your right-hand side is the Judge Institute of Management Studies, named after its principal benefactor, Sir Paul Judge. The building dates back to 1740 and was the original home of Addenbrooke's Hospital. This hospital was founded to provide treatment for the poor people in Cambridge who could not afford to pay for medical care. Brown's restaurant to the right used to be the outpatients department. The modern Addenbrooke's Hospital has now moved to a large new site on the outskirts of the city. This is our stop for the Fitzwilliam Museum, which is ahead and to the left of the bus. The museum is open Tuesday through to Sunday and closed on Mondays. This museum is owned by the university and has been described as one of the greatest art collections of the nation and a monument of the first importance. The museum also contains paintings by artists such as Gainsborough, Monet and Matisse. The impressive building with its Roman facade was opened in 1848 and was designed by the architect George Massavier, who never lived to see it completed, as he was killed when he fell through scaffolding whilst working on Ely Cathedral. As we drive past, look at the detailed sculptures inside the columns and under the roof. After we pass the museum, the college coming up on your left behind the iron railings is Peterhouse, founded in 1284. This is the oldest college in Cambridge and also one of the smallest. Famous alumni from Peterhouse include Frank Whipple, who invented the jet engine, Charles Babbage, the father of the modern computer, and more recently Sam Mendes, the film director. If you look to the right, you'll see Pembroke College, founded in 1347. The college chapel with the cupola on top was designed by Sir Christopher Wren and was his first completed commission. Sir Christopher was a professor of astronomy at Oxford. Perhaps his most famous work is St Paul's Cathedral in London. A former student here was Britain's youngest ever Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, who took office at the age of 24. On the corner to the right is the Church of St Otto. It is one of the patron saints of travellers, and its churches are traditionally located near to town entrance gates. On the corner of the tower you can see two sundials engraved into the stonework. On our right is St Catherine's College, known locally as CATS, which was founded in 1473. St Catherine is the patron saint of scholars. Coming up on the right is Queen's College, founded by two queens, Margaret of Anjou, wife of King Henry VI, and Elizabeth Woodville, wife of King Edward IV. Queen's College is built on the sides of the Royal Tower, bridge known as the Mathematical Bridge. You can see the bridge on the right-hand side as we cross the river. The Mathematical Bridge is built with straight pieces of timber and was constructed in 1749. Legend has it that originally the bridge was built on mathematical principles, without bolts or nails, until one night several hundred years ago, when a group of students decided to dismantle the bridge and were then unable to rebuild it. Now continue along our route by heading towards the west of the city, so that you can see some of the ways in which the city and university have continued to develop over the past centuries. As we leave this stop, to your left is Darwin College, which is one of 5 postgraduate colleges here in Cambridge. It was founded in 1964 and houses around 500 students. Darwin was the first Cambridge college to accept both men and women. The college takes its name from the famous naturalist Charles Darwin, who wrote the book Origin of Species in 1859. The central part of the college was the original Darwin family home. We are now turning right into Queen's Road, which is also pleasant in the lands. Coming up on your right in a little while is the world-famous view of King's College Chapel. If you'd like to take a photograph of the chapel, please have your cameras ready now. Remember not to stand up once the lights is moving. King's College was founded in 1643. Foundation stone of the chapel was laid in 1446. The chapel is the largest stone fan vaulted ceiling in the world. Behind the altar is Rubens' masterpiece, The Adoration of the Magi. Famous architect Christopher Wren designed the library, which you see in the trees on the right. The most famous manuscript was the original Hamlet of the children's classic. Immediately ahead of us is Westminster College, which trains ministers for the United Reformed Church. The gold carving above the gate facing the roundabout is of a burning bush, and the Latin inscription beneath it translates as, "And yet it was not consumed." motto of Scottish Presbyterianism. St Cavendish College, founded in 1965, a mature woman who wanted to return to education later in life. Mature and at age 28 were maturity is now accepted as being over the age of 21. The college is named after Lady Lucy Cavendish, niece of British Prime Minister William Gladstone. As we continue along the road, we'll drive past one of our modern, high-technology research parks before continuing out towards the picturesque villages of Coton and Nutting. We will shortly to the right is Churchill College, named after the co-author and leader of Westminster Churchill. Some critics have joked that the model is the Scarlet Scarlet. Churchill was inspired by visiting in 1955 to Massachusetts Institute of Technology and decided to found an institution to promote mathematics and sciences. Churchill studied science and symphonies since the has recently obtained various grades of the structure of DNA and the work of the team was splendid evidence of that. Opportunity was the West site of the university. The fact that the living seems to be the Microsoft the science is the longest course of study at the university, taking 6 years to complete. It's also the most expensive course on offer. The veterinary school conducts research into the treatment of cancer in adults, treat anything from elephant to a mouse. These modern buildings then home the Schlumberger Research Institute, where research is carried out into the extraction of oil and gas from deep below the ground. The eye-catching roof is made of Teflon-coated fiberglass, the same material used on the Millennium Dome in London, and is designed to lift off, just in case a controlled experiment goes wrong and causes an explosion. This direction is the Ural mountain range in Russia. The low-lying flat land to your right is known as the Fens. Fen comes from the high jungle like Fen. 6 years of the Civil War. Also, all sides was tragically hard. So it's from the nation's our next bus stop will be at American Military Station. It's a very military station. It's established in 1943. Identified grave. Other names are Mr. and Gina Miller, better known as Glenn Miller, the band leader, and Joseph Kennedy Jr., the local president of the United Kingdom. Now approaching the main entrance to the American Memorial, where we'll have a short break. If you wish to stay here for a while, you can join a later bus to return to the city. Buses will depart at regular intervals, so please ask your driver for times and more information. The American Battle Monuments Commission administers this site, and if you decide to walk around the memorial, you will be setting foot on American soil. Overlooking the graves is a memorial building embellished with glass panels that depict the seals of the States of the Union. This building's doors hold bronze medals depicting various types of military equipment and naval vessels used during World War II by the United States forces. The wall of seals overlooks the graves, and of the total headstones, 24 mark the last resting place of an unidentified soldier. There are two types of headstones on the collegiate system. There are 31 colleges within the university, and also 4 theological colleges which are associated with the university. Each college is an independent and self-governing body. The university is independent of the colleges. It is funded principally by the state.